Three drivers enter the arena separated by less than 10 points. One needs near perfection. One can just go and walk it off. It's a fight between the veteran, the runner-up, and the rookie sensation. This is the SRA IEL Truck Series. Welcome to Great Flag TV. My name is Nolan Rempel alongside George Garafita as we are bringing you all of racing action for the Avondale 150 Truck Finals for the Phoenix Raceway this afternoon. George, what a day it is. It is championship night. Three drivers still in the fight. Two need either perfection or near perfection. One of them, though, looking to just walk it off this afternoon. Let's break down the points for you entering racing action here this afternoon. So Justin Anisogak right now stands on the pole. And after we factor in drop weeks, Justin Anisogak can win the championship in three ways. If he finishes in the top three, if his rival Paul Witt finishes fifth or lower and scores no bonuses, or if Anisogak gets the pole and leads the most laps. Zane Bailey has a chance to be the champion, but he must win for it, and Justin Anisogak and Paul Witt cannot finish within the top 10 or gain any bonus points. Lastly, Paul Witt. Unfortunately, with how good of a season he has run, that has come back to shoot him in the foot. When factored in drop weeks tonight, if Paul Witt wants a title, he needs to win, and he needs to be on point. He needs to get every bonus point, lead every single lap in order to win this race, and Justin Anisogak must finish outside of the top five. But with Witt starting down in 8th, he is officially out for the championship. So already, out of our battle between the veteran, the runner-up, and the rookie, the veteran is sent packing.
Well, now, here it is. Now it's a two-way battle for the championship, but one needs perfection, the other one just needs to execute correctly. That's a big thing.
It's going to be a fight between Zane Bailey and Justin Anisogak. And Anisogak has already done one thing correct, and that is start from pole position. So he's already halfway there. Now he has to get the bonus point for leading the most laps, and he should be able to have this championship wrapped on up. If he finishes outside of the top 10, though, and Bailey, who is starting alongside him on the front row, is able to get back around him and win this race, it's not over yet, and this race will be decided at the checker flag at the end of the night.
Yeah, this is going to be a very good one. You know, it's Phoenix. It's a very weird track to run. You need a lot of skill. You need a lot of practice to run this track. So the big thing is who got more practice, who has more skill, and who can execute correctly tonight to win.
You talk about this being one of those awkward racetracks, right? And I think we can look no further to that than the dog leg, right? A place where typically the yellow line is just a suggestion line. Tonight, that line's being enforced. The dog leg is closed for business this afternoon. So drivers are not allowed to duck below that dog leg, as is tradition in pretty much every single NASCAR race since this place was rescanned at the end of 2011, right, or when it was reconfigured. So it's a bit wild to think that that's how this race has come about. So, you know, this could end up going either way with that dog not being a factor. Usually that's something we see in open wheel racing here. Not too much in stock truck racing, though. That's going to throw a new factor into at least half of this racetrack.
Well, that's the big thing. You know, guys really consider that the dog leg as Phoenix. They don't run this closed dog leg, portion of the track. So it's a very new thing, but I think that some of them are going to be able to push through and execute correctly.
Right now, 74 degrees Fahrenheit down on the racing surface, 72 in the air. It is a very brisk evening here in Avondale, Arizona, as we get set to go racing for 150 laps this afternoon. And I think those 150 laps cannot be understated, right? I mean, this is going to be one of the more wild races that we've seen in the SRA IEL Truck Series finale. And I think the first series where this championship actually has gone to the final race. The other two seasons, we have both seen them come into play. It's been decided the week before. So tonight, a lot on the line. And with 29 trucks on the grid, plenty of times for there to be drama to shake this race up.
Oh, yeah. Everybody of those 29 trucks is trying to win this race. Anisogak's trying to win for the championship. Bailey's trying to win for the championship. But everybody else is just trying to win for their own gain and just to have something to show to everybody else. You know, I won Phoenix, and they just want, that's what they want to do. There's no strategy, I don't think, for some of these guys tonight except for winning.
Well, we got ourselves just about ready to rumble this afternoon with plenty of racing action to go around all throughout this afternoon. And we are just about ready to take a rundown of that starting grid and find out how everything's going to line on up. And I think it is about time that we do just that. So, as we get set to go racing one final time this afternoon, this is your starting grid for the Avondale 150 Truck Finals. Started on pole position this afternoon, it is going to be Justin Anasogak alongside Zane Bailey, his new main title rival. Aaron May back in third with Joshua Highball in fourth. Aaron Raymond has been picking off the number 5 spot. He is not going to be champion at the end of the night, and his 3-time reign will come to a close. Ryan Wayne will start at 6th with Jim Duda back at 7th. Paul Witt freshly eliminated from the title fight as a result of Anasogak being on pole. Will be down in 8th with Noah Swafford in 9th, and Thomas Lane Jr. closes out the top 10. On down from there, it's going to be Brad Slagle alongside Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez. Bruce Dudley back in 13th with Mike Campbell Jr. in 14th. Dan Rappel back in 5th alongside Jeff Gilmore. Liben Van Leer will be in 17th. Dylan Wilbers in 18th. Anthony Lane in 19th. And Joshua Journey will close out the top 20. And then back through the field, it is Zachary Mertz, Ryan McRoberts, Michael Gudger, Jordan Jung, Jim Colmansberger, Cody Witt, Robert Amaral, Austin Mitchell, and Kevin Roy with the bottom 2. Not putting down qualifying laps this afternoon.
Now getting ready to pace. I mean, this race is going to make or break some guys' championship runs. And, I mean, everybody's fighting here. I know that for sure. Everybody's trying to, go for a win and really looking at it. The thing for Zane Bailey is hopefully that Anasogak gets swallowed up and, cannot come back up. But Anasogak just needs to stay up top 10, and he's got it locked.
So let's talk about the rest of the field for a minute as we got the last of our drivers good than up now, just waiting for the pace car to roll off of pit road. But, it's interesting, right? Enter the championship finale, and you're not in it for the fight, right? Only technically three, mathematically 2 trucks are entering the fight for the title this afternoon. What do you do if you're the other 27 now? How do you approach this race differently, or do you approach it differently?
Well, I've heard some people say that they want to stay out of Zane Bailey and Justin Anasogak's way, let them fight for the championship. But I've also heard some other people wanting to fight for the win here, try to get a win. They don't really care because it's not them going for the championship. So they just want to try to win here and get another win next to their name.
Well, we'll see how this one's going to pan on out. 150 laps, 150 miles, about to rumble to life once again from Avondale, Arizona. And we are going to be waving off this start. Give the tail of the field another chance to catch on up. And then we will be back at it once again. The iRacing pace car right now working through the end of pit road. And luckily, as a result of this very unique layout, where pit road cuts out a good chunk of the racetrack, should be able to re-emerge in front of the leaders.
Well, another nice thing is that we get to look at each turn of this racetrack very intricately as the trucks go through it. So really looking at turn 1, that's the dogleg turn. You're not going to be able to cut it, so which means that you're going to have to, it's more of a full throttle, I think, portion of the track where you could just go through that corner full throttle. But going into, I don't even know how they don't consider that the first turn, but turn 1 is it's considered by the track.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Turn 1 is it's considered by the track, and turn 2 is going to be a braking zone where you're going to have to slightly let off, play with the throttle a little bit, maybe brake. But turn 3 is where it's really at, and that's where you're going to have to brake, and you're going to have to find your way through that turn. Even though it's banked a little bit more, you still slide.
We'll work our way into turn numbers 3 and 4, and racing action going to pick up for the final time this afternoon. Time to see who is champion of season number 6 of the SRA IEL Truck Series. It's go, go, go from the Phoenix Raceway.
Everybody's trying to move around here. Well, let's see. Everybody's getting swirly. I don't know if we got a 3-wide rule for this one, so I wonder if anybody's going to try to take it 3 wide to try to pass anybody at the start of this race.
Doesn't look like it for the time being. Got a little bit of 3 wide down towards the tail of the field. Justin Anasogak leads lap number 1 to green. Wow, holy cow, we got a hornet's nest deeper in the pack here. And we got one hard to the outside wall. Jeff Gilmore turning hard into the fence. Is the 96 of Zachary Mertz. Jordan Jung collected. Anthony Lane collected. And more to kick off caution number 1 of the afternoon. Tough break to start off this final race.
Yeah, we're gonna lose a couple trucks of damage here. I don't know if Gilmore got loose coming out of the turn, but all I saw was him come down the track, then go up the track, and yeah, 3 wide there.
Came down to the 60.
Now I'm wondering if that was I think that was like a natural thing where you kind of think that the dog leg's being utilized, and you don't realize that you think the guy under you is taking the dog leg, so you go down there to try to cover as much.
Well, remember, the dog leg's closed tonight, so that excuse doesn't fly.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. You're used to it. But now we see really getting used to it coming into being the yips, I guess, as, you know, sometimes you forget when you're in the moment.
It's a couple of brutal licks into the wall there, in particular for Zachary Mertz. I mean, Mertz absolutely killed the inside wall here. Look at Gilmore hard into the outside fence. There goes the 96, big time into the inside wall, and Ryan McRoberts just got nicked to the middle of that. Tough way to start this race.
I wonder if that's race-ending damage for Mertz. It looks like he took a hard hit into that inside wall. I mean, probably damaged a toe link, could have damaged the engine, for all we know.
Well, several trucks are still situated on pit road. You got Mike Campbell, Joshua Jernigan, Zachary Mertz. Yes, Mertz is going to be done. His engine actively smoking on pit road. Jordan Jung, get his back onto the racetrack. Anthony Lane is also stranded, and Gilmore he's already tired himself from racing action tonight. So, big crash on just the second lap of this race, and should get the one-to-go signal this time by.
I mean, what it looked like is, you know, what I was saying before. It could have been just like, you know, a lot of these guys may race this track with the dog leg, so not racing with the dog leg may give it a different feel, especially when you're 3 wide like that. You think that the guy is going to come down onto the dog leg, but then you realize too late that, oh wait, the dog leg is closed and we can't go down there. But by that point, you're already spinning up the racetrack.
I still don't think that excuse works, because, I mean, these guys would have been told about it numerous times before this race. Hey, dog leg's not in play. Don't assume it's being used, because it's not going to be. So, the one thing that might save their muscle memory, other than that, well, there's something to think about. But Anna Sogak and Bailey, 1-2. Aaron Raymond and Aaron May, 3 and 4, with Jim Duda and Ryan Wayne back for 5 and 6. So, field works their way back around to the Geico restart zone. And green flag is out once again, and they hit to the shorts as Raymond gets into the back of Sogak, and Bailey beats them to the line.
Sogak really got a terrible launch there. It seemed like he may have missed a shift or something. They're 3 wide in the back over here.
3 wide with 4 down to the inside. Look at the safety of Lyman Van Leer trying to cut through. As a big aggressive dogfight deep in the field, McRoberts is given a bit of a shot from behind. Working off of turn number 4. All's well so far as we cross the lap 7, and this time we get the dog leg clean at speed.
Now it's going to get interesting because these guys in the back, some of these guys are going to start carving through the field trying to get up front. Some of them are going to stay back, so it's going to cause a little bit of fun issues, I guess I'd call it.
Brad Slagle and Bruce Dudley in the meantime. Working down in the round towards 1 and 2 with the 41 of Highball up on top. Dylan Wilbers getting a little bit out of the groove as he's going to push up the track from behind. And this group right now, the only double file they got on the racetrack, Austin Mitchell to the inside of the LSU number 64 Toyota Tundra. And he continues to fight it out for 15th as we get through the dog leg.
Austin Mitchell, one of the guys who, started in the back at this race, but knowing him, he's a very aggressive driver. He'll take it 3 wide. He'll do anything to try to get to the front of this field.
And up the road, Noah Swafford running some new colors with the Kellogg's number 17 Chevy Silverado. Alongside which is Gonzalez, and caution out of turn 4 as Brad Slagle has gone around. And looking like he might have found the outside wall to boot.
Now I'm really wondering what happened. Could it have been a, he was next to Mitchell, so net code.
Down and just coming together. One guy goes down, one guy goes up, and only room for one. And that is a heavy lick. No wonder he's out.
Yet another hard hit into the fence this race, and not even in the first 10 laps we've had 2 of the hardest hits I think I've seen this season right here.
You heard that motor pop pretty much immediately. Once again, several trucks in the pit road. Amaral, Jung, Campbell. Campbell's already been in pit road since the lap 2 incident, so the only newcomers are Amaral and Jung, both looking to get some damage repairs. Zane Bailey leads the way. He's in the spot he needs to be in, but he still needs Anna Sogak 11th or lower if he wants to take this title.
And that's out of his control at this point. His race and his focus is just to win. So run his race, execute correctly, and just kind of hope that Anna Sogak can find the back of the field.
Lights still on aboard the iRacing pace car, so we will go at least one more. Cautions can often be lengthy here in Avondale, as we should be one to green this time.
It's too early to, I think, push a strategy play. Maybe filling up a little bit on gas so you can go farther, but I think it's way too early for a strategy play here. Unless you're at the back and you go pit for gas, just top off the tank and maybe save a couple more laps when pit's open. But nothing yet. I think coming towards the 40 lap mark, maybe earlier, is where we see first pit stops.
Field stacked up, doubled up, ready to go already. Out of the 29 that started this race, we are down to just 24 in total on the racetrack, and all of them are on the lead lap. Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and we're rolling.
There's the top line getting a horrendous jump once again, so really looking to see what everybody behind does to try to get past that, because it looks like that middle line that Anna Sogak's running though is a little bit better than what Zane Bailey's running on that bottom.
Anna Sogak has something working for him. Oh, trouble back straightaway, bend into turn number 3, into the outside wall goes Highball. And Austin Mitchell, one of the drivers just involved in the last yellow flag, goes with him. Oh boy. My first
This
reaction
pace-
was to look for Brad Slagle, but he is nowhere in sight. So, and that, of course, because he is still situated in pit road. And a little check on the outside. Highball got into lane, and Mitchell just couldn't react.
That's just the checkup that happens when somebody breaks a little. Looked like, yeah, the top line kind of merged into the bottom line, so they had to slow up a little bit more. Cause that checkup, and you know, everybody too slow to react.
On board with Cody Witt, Team IEL number 39. Bit of a how do you do there. And Austin Mitchell is now in a pit road, along with Mick Roberts, Heimbaugh, and Coleman'sberger. So, yellow number 3 on the afternoon, and we're not even at lap 20.
Embers are currently flaring as well in the iRacing chat.
Oh, do tell, but keep it rated G now.
They're just yelling at each other, saying, I don't know who it was. I think it was the 23. Talking about how Jordan Jung ran him over during the caution lap, so they're not very happy with each other, that's for sure, especially...
Whoa! What on earth? Okay, we're gonna back that up. That was just now? Okay, so there was a separate incident. So Jordan Jung did get into McRoberts. Now, granted, quite a bit of netcode involved in this here. Take another look, and yeah, he did kind of run him through a little bit here. And then Roberts catching him up to the tail. Just yanks the truck hard left, and is that a hardware failure, you reckon?
It seems like it, because I don't think that you can yank the wheel that hard. I think it seems like it disconnected his wheel or something. Because that yank is
that was very much deliberate, you can tell.
It's very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody in my racing career yank their wheel into the wall by themselves and wreck their race car.
I have. It's usually as a more cathartic means of inflicting damage without getting disqualified for taking somebody else out.
I mean, as you can see by the replay, he wasn't even near Jung at that point, so it seems like he just turned in. That was very interesting.
It was the first truck in line ahead of him, so maybe he was... Can you check if he's got a disqualification at all, or if he's just as is?
I didn't see anything in the chat during the race. That's what I'm interested in, unless Jordan Jung blinked out and that was his last known location. But
I doubt it. I mean, that wheel was way too fluid for that to be a hardware failure.
I mean, that was that's very confusing.
Well, we'll try again. Caution number 3 coming to a close, and ready to see what lap 19 has in store for the field as green flags out. Back to it. And Sogak clears to the top shelf. 3-time champion Aaron Raymond looking for the inside, trying to pick up the number 2 spot, while Zane Bailey making tracks up top in a battle for second. Raymond trying to stop it in on the inside of Anna Sogak, but Anna Sogak going to deny him for now, and he clears up top.
Looking at going into turn 3, Bailey had to hit the brakes very hard because Anna Sogak came down the racetrack. What looked to be a really, like the line that we saw the checkup happen before, it seemed like he had to brake very hard the way Anna Sogak ran down the track.
So the battle for the lead still very much on as it stands, while just behind Mad scramble for spots outside of the top 10 continues with Dale Rapp under fire from Lieben Van Leer. Looking for the inside of the LSU number 64 of Michael Gudger off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. I believe that was Jung that just caught the outside fence, and now Gonzalez again trying to attack Noah Swafford.
Gonna get him here. It's a pretty good pass right there. I mean, that's clean. Now let's see, up front, Aaron Raymond could be a potential thwarter, I guess, in this championship battle, as he's sandwiched in the middle of the two championship drivers.
Very much could be, but he would have to really take Anna Sogak out in order to dump him outside of the top 10 for being able to even have a shot here. Coming off in turn number 4, though. And Anna Sogak going to still keep a good run going.
I don't think there's been any previous incidents between these two, so I know Raymond doesn't want to get payback, that's for sure. So really, he's just going to race him to try to win.
So Anna Sogak, Raymond, Bailey running 1, 2, 3 with Duda and May back for 4 and 5 deeper in the field. And really for the first time all night long, we are pretty much single file throughout. There goes Aaron May and the iRacing.com number 25 of Ryan Wayne. Sorry, trying to get to the inside now of Noah Swafford. And this the battle for the number 8 spot. One that May should have in hand through 1 and 2.
I think waiting for turn 3. Let's see. No, it looks like that middle line is just better. Going in, entering, and then exiting as well. It seems like the middle line is the line to choose. The low line doesn't seem to be that great.
Meanwhile, up front, Raymond power sliding off of turn number 2. He's got the inside of Anna Sogak. Making a drive down to the bottom side. Anna Sogak trying to sweep through. Not going to get the job done. And Aaron Raymond able to maintain his momentum. Anna Sogak sits just in the wings, and now he's been bumped off at the top spot. He just has to finish in the top 3 to secure a championship.
You know, this is where it's going to get really interesting, because we'll see. I think Zane Bailey is definitely going to try to take that second spot away if he can get there.
Caution is out, and this is for Cody Witt down the back straightaway. The driver of the number 39 having issues here. Oh, whoa, way sideways. Excuse me, and oh man. Inside, outside, back to the inside again. And a few brutal impacts there.
Yet another hard hit tonight. Yeah, he just got loose coming off the corner. That corner is very notorious for getting a lot of drivers loose. Because you may, if you hit the throttle too early, you could go around really easily.
I think he lost steering when he went into the inside wall the first time. That's why the truck kind of behaved the way it did. Because that was so violent, the way that truck just snapped. Watch the wheel. Yeah, he's lost all steering in that thing. That's, yeah, I mean, you can see him trying to turn the wheel in. That truck's just not responding.
Yeah, and that's always the number one issue with, you know, breaking a toe link there. You ping pong, and the first time you ping pong, you lose the one steering, which means that you're going to go back up the other way up the track, whether you like it or not.
Well, Justin Anasogak and Zane Bailey, along with more, are in a pit road. The only 4 that have stayed out: Raymond, Swafford, Gudger, and Wilbers. So yellow flag number 4 of the afternoon, and we are at the 1/5 mark, and looking like it's going to be fuel only for most. Tires for Anasogak, for May, Wayne, Highbaugh, Jernigan, and more. So, split strategies here at Pit Road at the Phoenix Raceway, and we'll be back with more in a moment on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV as we set to return to Green Flag Racing this afternoon. 31 laps are in the books, and we've got 119 to go. The Avondale 150 Truck Finals. Green flag is in the air, and they're stacking them up already, George, as we approach the dog leg.
That was a huge stack up there. I mean, 17 looked like he didn't even get going. And I mean, I see there's a car somewhere up here with a little bit of rear end damage that I saw. But yeah, that's always not great, especially trying to time the restart.
Oh, look out! And we're all sideways. He's going to catch the inside wall, but keeps it going. We're not going to have a yellow flag. Not for lack of trying, though, because, boy, everybody here trying to pull each other out of a line.
Oh, man, this is getting very weird, and especially with it watching in a Sogak mid-pack, too wide with some of these guys. Oh, I bet he is scared right now. That's for sure.
But remember, a lot of this is because you got a lot of drivers here that are on fresh rubber, cutting their way through others. Anasogak being shut down by Paul Ware. Paul's trying to keep Anasogak from taking a W, and it's not going to happen this time by. Ambrol has gone around again at the tail of the field. But it looks like we managed to escape the opening salvo of laps clean. This was the second spin that Ambrol has had in as many laps. Lost it by himself.
Too much throttle coming through the corner and just lost it. I would also like to mention Bruce Dudley hit the inside wall coming through turn 3. A couple laps back.
So Dudley,
seems like he's got major damage.
Yeah, Dudley potentially with some damage there. Well, behind everybody else. Really in a mad scramble for whatever they can muster. Look at Aaron May pushing way up the racetrack. Live at Van Leer trying to attack Gonzalez. Anasogak, meanwhile, is going to drive around Noah Swafford. But aggressive, one of the most aggressive restarts we've had all race, but somehow no caution.
That was interesting. It was like shuffling cards. It was like, you know, the guy in front somehow managed to drop back so far, and you know, just like shuffling cars, but or shuffling cards, but shuffling trucks.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's been pretty wild what these guys have been able to do with it here. The pack is going to continue to fight their way all the way around, and I think we're in for a good show, right? I mean, this restart has been on fire so far. No reason why things should be changing anytime soon. So the field is looking good. And right now, Anasogak has just got his way back around the other title contender in this race, Zane Bailey.
Yeah, this is some great racing. Even in the back over here, everybody's racing too wide. They're getting really close to the quarter panels of each of, you know, competitors' trucks, and, you know, they're not spinning each other, but they're just getting really, really close to the point where, you know, you kind of disrupt a guy by just getting to the quarter panel of his truck.
So Jung, Rapp, Coleman'sberger still under a blanket as well. They're in a battle for 14th, while up the road, Jim Duda trying to take one away from Lyman Van Leer. Right now, movers in the top 10 with fresh tires. Anna Sogak, May, Wayne, and Jim Duda.
Big thing, that do we think that they took the tires way too early? Well, I guess that's what the rest of the field really thought, especially Aaron Raymond.
Well, remember, you have to make a fuel-only stop at some point in these races, and I think several drivers like Zane Bader decided to get it over with later, because remember, Anna Sogak and more likely than not, they're going to have to take a fuel-only stop later on in the game, which it's going to hamper them pretty big.
Oh yeah, that's the number one thing. It's, you know, it's not all about driving that wins you the championship here. It's all about, you know, while winning comes in, and that's a big factor, strategy is going to get you to that win, and that's what you're going to need to perfect before you could win, basically.
And now the fight for the lead. Justin Anasogak has caught your three-time champion Aaron Raymond. Looks to the inside, and Raymond going to be pushing up to the top. And just like that, Anasogak is through on the drive of the number 6 Silverado. So Raymond not going to fight that one too big. Allows for Anasogak to get away. And now the Rowdy Energy number 13 Toyota Tundra can really open up the taps in clean air and run away with the championship.
Another big thing is Zane Bailey's got to find a mindset where he can kind of figure out the track really quickly and start pushing. He needs to find his line now. That's where it really matters. Finding that line and getting up to the back bumper of the guy you're trying to win again, or, you know, take the championship from. You need to get into that right mindset. You need to find your line, and you just need to go, go, go.
Still watching Coleman'sberger, Jung, Heibaugh, and Jernigan. As they all battle it out, we are approaching the 1/3 mark in this race, and this run looking to be one of the longest we've had all race long. It's been wow that we're saying that only 45 laps in, but you know, that's the opening to this race. But look at what we finally managed to get our things settled out. I think we really just needed to get everybody spread apart and out of the same section of the racetrack, and now we're able to really see a lot of these battles go into the long haul.
Yeah, and this is really what you look at. I mean, you really look at how messy. Oh, Jung!
Ouch! Hard into the wall for Jung, and that is courtesy of Joshua Heibaugh. I mean, kind of just runs him over, doesn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if Jordan Jung is going to take too happy to that, that's for sure. I think he's going to try to get back to the rear end of Heibaugh and try to pay him back there.
He's got a long drive ahead of him. Not out of no possibility, but we'll see what happens later in the race. Meanwhile, Aaron May looking left, looking right, wants to find a way to put Zane Bailey off of a podium. And he's going to look for the inside. Oh, drifts up, gets into the door of one of the big championship competitors in this race. Pushes the 20 up the racetrack, but Bailey holding firm, not allowing him to get it in. Now he sweeps across the nose. And Aaron May picks up the number 3 spot.
Now my question is Zane Bailey really going to take that to this point? Because, you know, he's fighting for a championship. You can't have some guy who is not fighting for the championship here now pushing you out of the way and potentially turning you and ending your race. So I don't think he's too happy about that move that Aaron May just made on him.
I doubt he's not, but at the same time, he's got no choice but to accept it for now. He's on all tires, remember. He's on 30 lap older tires than Aaron May is. May took freshies under that pit stop, which is why we see him taking off, and Zane Bailey tries a May. He's not able to get back to him.
That's the big thing. Really looking at Zane Bailey. He's going to have to hope that the strategy that he put on now can last, you know, help him in the end.
Meanwhile, Wilbers, Colmansberger, and Highball scrapping it out amongst themselves, and Jim Colmansberger in the Zippo number 11 takes to the inside of Wilbers. Forces him up. Joshua Highball still waiting in the mix as well as he wants to fight his way through more drivers. And we got May and Gundry in the pit road, by the way, for green flag stops. And these are two drivers that did not pit until now. These are their first stops in total of the night.
So that's going to get interesting right here then, it seems. Because, I mean, green flag pit stops versus, you know, pitting under caution. It's going to get interesting, that's for sure, because, you know, a lot of these guys who pitted are going to be able to go a lot more laps, but the guys who didn't pit now are going to be at a disadvantage, especially if they go one lap down. Now, the one thing I am wondering is if Zane Bailey pitted last caution, did he not take tires?
No, he didn't. He took fuel only.
Oh, okay. So you know what? That helps.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that fuel only stop is out of the window now. Now he's just tires, gas, and go.
And that's just it, right? Like, I mean, I know a lot of drivers, they would prefer to do the fuel only stop while you're under green, but, you know, given how caution heavy that race was, now he's got the chance to go back and only take tires on the pit stops from here to the end. And he should be good to go, right? That's the big thing, is trying to make sure that you're not going to be put in a hole later in the game.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to happen. You want to strategize correctly, so you're not stuck in this bottomless pit. You know that you're going to have issues coming back up the field, and you know even on old tires, he's still running pretty good in that third spot.
So Jim Colmansberger, Bruce Dudley, still remaining 1-2 in the battle for the last spot inside the top 10, and not expecting to see anybody coming on down for at least another 15, 20 laps or so, unless drivers pitted sooner than that, like Thomas Lane Jr. has. We see him now into the pits, and see really again for the first time a lot of field separation in this pack, and I kind of like this, right? We often don't see races going long on green flag TV. In fact, this is, I think, one of the longest green flag runs we've had at Phoenix in all of 2025 on the channel. Because caution-free races at this place are, well, low caution races at this place are kind of unheard of in a way.
Yeah, it's just a very challenging track to run. You have to have perfect throttle inputs, perfect brake inputs, or you're losing that truck. And that's like the number one thing that you really look at when driving this track, and that's why it kind of gets frowned on when you race there, especially since, you know, caution fest usually and can happen.
Well, it's one of those places, right, where it takes the definition of driver's track to an extreme, right? It is so precise what you have to do to be quick around here to an annoying degree, which is why, like you say, it doesn't get too much praise for a lot of drivers. You ask a lot of drivers, you know, what's your top 5, top 10 ovals? Phoenix is almost never on that list, and it's not on my list either, granted, but it is fascinating to watch these longer green flag runs pan out whenever we do get the chance, like we're seeing this afternoon with drivers like Paul Witt now trying to battle it out. Look at Lyman Van Leer shutting the door on the 429, not letting them get it in through the dog leg.
And that's what you kind of look at with this track. You know, some people say that they don't like this as a champion track, but this is a perfect championship because you really look at these drivers, and this track really tests your skill. You know, you have to be perfect with throttle inputs. You have to be perfect on the brakes. You have to run this track as fast as possible without making any mistakes, and that's really why it's, you know, a very skilled track compared to running something like Homestead, where, you know, you can kind of make a mistake in the corner and you may not go around, but there's also other lines you can run. This one, you know, this track is more of a low, middle dominant track.
battle for third here. Ryan Wayne and Zane Bailey once again going at it. Bailey's caught back up to Wayne, and that is courtesy of Aaron Raymond, who just got around the pair of them, having just unlapped himself for these two drivers. So we see Jim Duda closing in as well. So Bailey is officially taken off of the top step of the podium, and looking like Bailey might be on fire here. Jim Duda, one of the last cars, or one of the last trucks that have come down to the lap 29 caution that is now on fresh rubber.
And now Zane's just got to figure out how to keep his spot in line, because, you know, losing too many spots is also a death sentence. Because, you know, when you lose so many spots, you know, you plant yourself farther and farther back in the field, and you're more susceptible, especially if a caution comes out, you're more susceptible to being involved in an incident or a bunch of other things that could potentially happen. Bad pushes, getting hooked on accident, even losing the truck.
Here's Van Leer, Witt, Rapp, Dudley, and more. And man, I tell you what, I mean, Van Leer holding up Paul Witt is really stacking him up into a bunch of other trucks here now, like Jim Colesberger, Joshua Highbaugh, and more, that are all trying to find their way through. I think Van Leer very much is a cork to the bottom. This is a case of the track's just not powerful enough. Nobody can really find a way around it. Van Leer is showing no qualms in holding up what would have been a championship competitor tonight, trying to go for last-minute glories.
I am very surprised Witt hadn't moved him, and it looked like now he may pass him, but
Oh, Witt's a clean
you know,
guy.
now,
He doesn't like doing that
yeah.
sort of thing.
Now this sets up, you know, this sets up a pack. So, you know, this could be where problems start, especially if, you know, guys want to pass and want to race each other. You know, even if you have different lines as well, too. If you run a different line, different braking zone, and, you know, the guy behind, then the guy behind you, that could also stir up problems.
Well, Van Leer just got, Witt just got to the high side, so that is setting up Lyman Van Leer here to be freight trained a little bit as he works his way through turns 1 and 2. It depends on what happens here, though. As Lansing get cleared, he is going to find a way to get himself. Oh! Treble contact back straight away, and into the wall goes Bruce Dudley. Jim Colmensberger goes with him. And caution flag flies for the 5th time tonight. 11 laps shy of halfway. And this, George, should bring everyone down.
Oh, that's for sure.
Coming off of turn 2.
So he throttled it up too much. Yeah, got. Ooh, no.
Dudley got loose up high, and then that's an awkward one, right? Because Colmensberger was definitely tracking up, but he was assuming that Dudley was going to go to the wall, and Dudley would have gone to the wall had he not spun up the rears and gotten loose and had his momentum stall. I'm curious to see how race control is going to rule this one.
I consider this a racing incident.
I
It looked like
agree.
the 11 just came out of the. Looked like he kind of stuttered coming out of the corner. It looks very weird on the broadcast as I'm watching it. Kind of looks like he stuttered.
Well, watch this here. Watch the A6. See, right there he gets loose and drifts down. And it was that getting loose, right? He couldn't throttle up and accelerate, so he stalled out and lost track of where his line was.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely a racing incident. I don't think you can really shift the blame on anybody. You know, getting loose is not really an on-purpose thing. It's just, especially here, when you get loose, you kind of just accidentally or too early in the throttle, or you know, you're kind of sliding up towards the wall and you want to try to get more grip, and you try to, you know, you press the gas pedal a little bit too hard, and you lose it. But you know, not a crazy hard crash for them, and they should be able to come back with a little bit of damage repair and finish this race.
Well, this has allowed pretty much everybody on the lead lap to come down and into pit road. Nobody taking fuel only this time around. 4 tires and some for damage repairs. So sit rep. 29 trucks started this race. And we are about to have 22 still running and only 17. All right, Colbensberger into the longest line. So race control here, George, would beg to disagree with you or me, as he has been assigned blame for the incident.
I guess that when they look back, they saw that little movement up the racetrack as something potentially that, you know, could have been avoided. So, but I don't know about that. But, you know, as a race controller, you know, we came up with something different. But, you know, really,
I think he was following his line. It is what it is.
you know, the line I don't think looks that long. So he's pretty good.
The pace car is off, and we are going to be 7 laps shy of halfway when we restart this race. 10 trucks side by side, and everybody else is going to be single file as a result of pit stops, wave arounds, or otherwise. Justin Sogak with the race lead. Works out of turn 4, and this race is back underway.
Bottom line looked a little bit stacked up. Van Leer got a great, you know, start and just couldn't get to the back. I got to the back bumper of the 053 and just, you know, couldn't go anywhere.
Oh, look out! A couple trucks, bit loose! High ball! Sideways! Stacks up into the field. Amaral goes with them, and quick caution to slow us back down. As the 41 going to go into the inside wall. Got loose, that's all she wrote. Amaral got loose as well up high.
That's the thing about that corner, as we've seen all night, really. Getting loose coming out of it. And Amaral has definitely had a problem coming through that corner, it seems, because it's, I think, the second time he's come through that corner and gotten loose, so it seems like he may be getting into the throttle a little bit too early coming out of the corner, which is causing his truck to really bottom out.
Well, caution number 6, and this one will push us ever closer to halfway. We'll be back in a moment with more Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Restart coming at you for lap 73 of 150 in the Avondale Truck Finals. With this race still about to exit its first half. Justin Sogak leads us back to the restart zone, and we're green.
Sogak gets a great jump on the bottom, but then the top line kind of fizzles out. They get a great jump on the top, and then they just kind of fizzle out.
Please.
Wow.
3 wide. Bailey up top. Wayne and May down low. And somehow we're going to get through that one unscathed. Jim Duda trying to cut his way into 5th, but he's got to get around Paul Witt to do so. Or Aaron May, whichever, or Ryan Wayne, sorry, whichever one ends up happening. I'm not used to seeing Ryan Wayne in an iRacing paint scheme. Have you seen that being Aaron May's thing? But we've still got a good race going, and we're 2 laps from halfway.
Oh my goodness, this is scary watching over here. There, I see Bruce Dudley getting slightly loose. I see everybody's just very close racing.
Very close racing indeed, as it's a hornet's nest out there, right? And I think if we could just get like 10 to 15 green flag laps in, we should be able to get out of this fine. But that's the difficult, right, is getting that run in. Aaron Raymond going to catch the wall. And Lyman Van Leer trying to send it the long way around Paul Witt. Halfway, 75 down, 75 to go. Duda's loose. Scrambles the inside, but he's got to check up. He can't cut across the dog leg like he normally would, so that puts him 3 wide to the middle into turn number 1.
He almost got into Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez's rear bumper, and that was scary watching it, that's for sure.
It's not over yet. Aaron Raymond getting to the back of Van Leer. Paul Witt just up the road, struggling to hang on. Man, what an aggressive dogfight these guys are having here. And they're able to more or less get out of it as Witt and Van Leer will go 5th, 6th, and then behind is Aaron Raymond in 7th. Trying to look around the outside.
Now, as a driver, you really want to focus on your own race here. But when you're in a hornet's nest like that, you gotta worry about the guy next to you. You gotta worry about the guy behind you. You gotta worry about the guy in front of you, especially the guy in front of you braking. The guy behind you trying to give you a little bit of a bump, and the guy next to you sliding up the racetrack. So it's always you got to be aware of your surroundings at tracks like this. Daniel Rapp almost just cut off Gudger there.
Van Leer did cut off Paul Witt down to the turn 3. This battle's still side by side for 6th. Van Leer finally has made his point and has gotten clear into the number 5 spot up the road. Now Aaron Raymond going to try to make his way through as well, and he's going to do just that. Lose for Raymond and Van Leer coming off the top side of turn 2. And that lets Van Leer fall under fire, but Raymond, and your 3-time champion, gets into the top 5 up high.
That was crazy. And, you know, Van Leer all season has been sneaky good. His results haven't really shown, but during these races he's been running up in the top 5, top 10, and he's been, as you can see right now, 3-time champion and championship contender this season, battling really well with them.
Now, what could have been for Aaron Raymond, right? He enters this race with a pretty hefty deficit. He was 4th place in the points. No chance on getting into 3rd. 4th is the absolute best he can hope for. You imagine he's got to be thinking that, right? It's like, man, what would this race have been like if I had just been able to put together a few more solid races early in the season? Could it have been a 4th championship back to back to back to back? You'll have to think about that as we enter the NAS Classic season, which kicks off next week.
That's really the real thing you look at. You know, every time you're really racing as a driver, you always look back at those races you didn't do that well in, and you kind of just sit there, but you can't really sob and sulk over them. You got to move on to the next race. And, you know, even if you don't win the championship this season, as a 3-time champion, you know, if I was Aaron Raymond, I'd be happy at least won 3. But, you know, this season I'd be, all right, well, we didn't get it this time, but next season we're going to go after it again.
That's all you got to do, right? Head down, focus up on the next one. Is what happened with Dalton Kilroe of the High Tide Racer League when he had the championship robbed from under his nose at the end of Season 2. And look what happened. Came out of it on top and finally got that title to close out Season 3. He now fights to defend that championship on Monday night. And he's not the only one that is going for championships. The ASRL Xfinity Series, presented by Purple A's Autosport, is going to the French countryside. They race at Le Mans this Sunday with the no chicanes layout to boot for round number 9 of their championship. Meanwhile, we bring on a new league to Green Flag TV. The Blazing Paddles Arthur Series will be jumping on over. We'll kick off with round number 8 of their championship Talladega. That'll be Sunday afternoon at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Derek Watson and Evan Pasoko will be bringing you all the action from our first race of coverage. And then joining Derek in the booth for all the races onward will be Justin Prince. So plenty of action yet to be had. Roger wants to fight Gonzalez.
This has been a great battle of them two going back and forth. And these are the great green flag battles you want to see. You don't want to see the guys wrecking, but, you know, going back and forth like this, trying to pass and then, you know, coming back and passing again, these are great battles.
And this is what Phoenix is all about, right? You're always going to have these moments, always going to have these little dog fights. Picking up everywhere you look, and one of the big dog fights as well. And a Sogak and Bailey. The thought about the championship comes to mind again, right? These are the only 2 trucks that are left that have the ability to go for a championship. Bailey can still get it, but he has to get Anna Sogak out of the top 10. He wants to do so. Right now, as it sits, Anna Sogak would be your champion by a good margin with drop weights.
And as I was saying before, you know, the biggest thing about racing is not actually being in the car and racing, it's the mentality you have behind it. Because if you really, if you drop a week and have a bad race, you can't let that linger over your head. You gotta go into the next week confident that you could come back and keep winning. And that's really what all these drivers really need. That, you know, some of these drivers, you know, they have bad finishes. I've had bad finishes, and I've sulked over results. But, you know, when you really think about it, is you really need that mentality coming into the next race that, you know, last week I forgot about it. Last week is forgotten. This week matters. And you just push for the win there. And I've seen better results come through after using that mentality.
Once again, Lyman Van Leer is a cork in the bottle for Paul Wynn, Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez, Michael Gunger, and Jim Duda. As this group just cannot get around the driver of the number 60. Lyman just doesn't have the long run pace realistically to fight with these guys. Doesn't mean he's not going to try though. 60 laps to go and Paul Wynn can't get through.
He's just not, it seems like he's just hogging the bottom lane, and that's probably the fastest line you can run. Let's see if Witt can get past here. It looks like Lyman Van Leer's. Goodness. Right in the back. Gonzalez and Duda gets to get together.
Near collision there. Now Gudger and Witt both able to get through on the inside of Van Leer. We'll see a little bit more of this pack slip away. Meanwhile, Dale Rapp trying to do the same with Noah Swafford. Looking like Swafford might be the cork in the bottom between Dudley and Dale Rapp. Oh, and into the outside wall goes Dudley there. Rapp slamming the door shut with Yarn has had his toes in there.
Those are some crazy blocks that I've seen Dale Rapp put on. Those are insane. And those are like split-second decisions that you make. You're like, oh, slight opening. Push yourself in there. You know, that doesn't make other drivers very happy.
Now, that rub there from Dudley, that is sending a message. I didn't appreciate that. Message received and evidently ignored as Dale Rapp going to shut the door again in the middle of 3 and 4.
I wouldn't be surprised if he moves him soon. He's just not going to be happy and just kind of moves him.
Now, it wouldn't be the first time Dudley's gotten in trouble for going after a guy. Remember, Kansas got disqualified there.
Just watched Van Leer get pushed out of line, I think by the 90. He saved it. That was interesting. really watching these miscellaneous battles mid-pack and towards the rear. These are always great. Sometimes they're better than the battle for the lead. And that's always an interesting way to look at it, that's for sure.
So Dale Rapp and Bruce Dudley will remain in lockstep 12th and 13th between the 52 and the 86. Jernigan and Coleman'sberger running 14th and 15th. Just behind Alton and Battle, that is separated by less than 0.2 of a second. Like you say, a lot of great battles that we've been having throughout the entirety of this run so far. I mean, this series has been fantastic. I'm glad we were able to close it out after all the uncertainty that we had earlier on in the year. And I'm glad that we're going to be sticking with these guys all the way to NAS Classic, right? Their season opener for NAS Classic starts off next week. Now, coverage for that opening round in question, not granted, not due to scheduling. Well, yes, due to scheduling, but if the race doesn't get broadcasted live, it will be broadcasted live tape and then re-aired probably on Tuesday, if I had to guess. But such is the way that things are, right, when race season kicks off. And due to calls, unfortunately, can't always make all the online shows, but hey, we do what we can.
Yeah.
Hey, plus side, it's 50-50 odds on we're rained out next Saturday, so hey, you might get a live show after all. We'll see. Jim Duda. Whoa, boy, look at Duda forcing Gonzalez up the road.
Now, really, it doesn't look. It looks close on the broadcast, but it's way closer in the car, especially on board with Luigi Gonzalez. You are so close to the other guy's door that it is like you're basically looking into their truck. Oh!
Well, there we go. Hard into the wall for Gonzalez, and oh boy, that was ugly. Uh-oh, look out here. Might get back to him. They were not playing nice there for a few laps, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Gonzalez really liked getting doored up the racetrack and pushed up the racetrack there, but now getting turned into the fence, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. Let's take a look. A lot of trucks at the pit road. We'll take a look at that in just a second as coming down into the opening corner of the racetrack, and dude, it just didn't really turn in all that much. Was heavily trying to force Gonzalez up the racetrack, and that put the 90 back into the fence.
Looked like he tried to take a wider turn to get in, but I don't know if he realized that Gonzalez was on his high side. But obviously, I think we're going to know after race control rules it who's going to the back.
Again, that's going to be an interesting one to see how that gets ruled. So, fuel only for, no, tires. Tires all around. No fuel only on this pit stop again. And how about that? Zane Bailey beats Justin Anasogak off of pit road.
That is, yeah, it seemed like he had an issue going into or coming out of the pits at least, which is interesting.
So this is at speed. Woo! High speed slide with that one, and this was on board with Jim Duda for the lap leading up to this. There you see Duda. Sorry, this is with Gonzalez. So that was the lap prior. You saw how much Duda chased Gonzalez up the racetrack. Duda sent it in deep again, and kind of does the same thing. Starts to run a wide, but granted, no contact between them that time around. And then it just comes to blows in turn one. And Jim Duda, you see him bottom of the screen, has been assigned the blame. He is being sent to the tail.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I thought I saw that ruling coming. I mean, you know, it didn't, you know, if it looked like he made an effort to try to turn in early and just got into him, then it would, I think, would have been a racing incident. But just like, you know, the way he went into that corner, it really just kind of didn't, you know, it didn't look like he tried to make the corner. It looked like he just ran right into him. They were not too happy with each other in chat, that's for sure. They were arguing back and forth.
Again, I do not blame them. It's one of those cases, right, where play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and for Jim Duda, it would not be the first time he has played stupid games and won some stupid prizes.
Now the real thing is you have Luigi Gonzalez behind you coming to the restart, so I don't know if we'll see him take anything back. I mean, I don't think he's gonna flat out turn him. I think he's just gonna rattle him up in the rear a little bit, but I don't think he's gonna turn him. I think just sending a message, you know.
On iRacing, one could very quickly lead to another.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you just give the bump in the back, you know. I don't like what you were doing there.
Green flag back in the air this time by, and Ryan Wayne, who did not pit under the last caution, takes off from the field. And Sogak and Bailey immediately put him 3 wide for the top spot. As does Aaron Raymond for a second, and Sogak is through, but Raymond gonna run through him! Raymond goes around hard into the wall for Lyman Van Leer, and it's falling apart on the back straightaway. Multiple trucks involved, and I think about 2-3 separate incidents there, combining into one. Let's start with what happened here. So this is Aaron May. There's Aaron Raymond. You see him right there getting into Sogak. Kind of just runs through him.
Caught the apron.
And then Paul Witt got a little loose, got into Aaron May, and they both turned down into the 6 as a result because they got spun down across the racetrack. And while that was going on, Campbell and someone else had problems up at the back of turn 1. So what the heck happened back here? Well, right there, you see Lyman Van Leer has got into the wall. And we'll get a better look at this again. This is one more time. Oh, I got loose! Got loose, and Swapper finished the job. Dale Rapp caught a piece. So yeah, 2 completely isolated incidents, and I want to ride on board with Aaron Raymond.
So you saw the bottom line open up, and then would have been a nice bump and run right there if it didn't get loose off the apron.
I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, it's a staple of Aaron Raymond, right? I mean, the guy in front of his own old tires, well, sure, I could just run right through him. I mean, it happened last week at Darlington with Duda. Raymond claimed he ran it clean. I beg to differ.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 separate incidents.
It's one of those things, though, where, well, it's like, it's a staple of what he does, and it's why he doesn't have many friends on the racetrack, to be perfectly blunt about it, is because he does that, and he's usually pretty unapologetic about it. And now, if that's how he wants to race, that's how he wants to race, that's fine. I'm just saying, don't be surprised when sooner or later someone does it right back to you.
Yeah, it's more of a, you know, if you don't move out of my way, I'll move you situation, which is, you know, it's not a great mindset for a driver. You know, you don't make a lot of friends that way. Kind of make more enemies than anything else.
Some could argue it's that mindset that cost him a championship here, because he was not really cut any kind of breaks. I'm curious about why Van Leer got the penalty for the yellow flag. I would have thought it would have been for the truck spinning up the road, but it is what it is. Green flag is back.
Unless they consider it a racing incident, which...
Well, that or it's one of those cases where the caution technically came out for that incident that happened after the flag, so can't be looked at in the same light. Which in that case, fair enough, not a lot you can do about it. But Zane Bailey clears Anna Sogak for the lead from up high and is already running away for the top spot. Hard into the wall for Dylan Wilbers behind them.
Oh man, this is going to get interesting. Well, as you were saying before, I remember my first race was Homestead of preseason, and I remember Aaron Raymond moving me right out of the way while I was driving, and I was, oh,
and there goes Colensberger and the KNC Sim Motorsports driver of Kevin Roy. So caution number...
Oh, and they crash again.
I have no comment on that. I think that picture spoke for itself. Turn one. And Colensberger was real slow. I don't know why.
Was he trying to pit?
Maybe. I think it would have gotten down to the apron then, but then there goes Kevin Roy up the racetrack into the wall. Van Leer got in there as well.
Very interesting. He didn't blow an engine, did he?
I don't think he did. It does look like he's trying to come to pit road, doesn't it? It's a very weird incident. And then Kevin Roy slides down the track for the White Castle number 31, and I don't know what to tell you. I genuinely don't. Let's run on board the seconds leading out with Colensberger. See what he saw.
The real thing I'm looking at is the gauges for fuel, but he's got fuel.
He doesn't have.
He ran out of gas.
He doesn't have fuel gauge in these cars. That's fuel pressure, remember?
Oh. Usually, though,
well, the whole time that truck was acting weird. Like, he keeps on, like, well, just... Again, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, the whole time, he was kind of, like, lifting out. Like, I don't know what was going on there. Like, you heard it, right? You could see the RPMs, like, all of a sudden that needle would just tank. It was almost like he was running out of fuel, but he pitted, like...
He was able to throw his truck into the pits, but...
Well, he pitted less than 15 laps ago, so he couldn't be out of fuel. Unless he forgot to take fuel, but how do you forget to do that?
Yeah, usually you have it on autofill. That is very confusing. I've never seen that, and the only way you could really get an explanation from it is if it comes from the driver.
It makes me wonder if maybe he had a hardware thing going on. The cause of that will remain a mystery while we are under 40 laps to go. Bailey and Anna Sogak. 1-2. Bailey once again opting for the high side. Rapp and Swafford, the next two in line. Then it's Dudley and Gudger. We'll try again. Spot entering turn number one. Anna Sogak pushing up from the bottom. Zane Bailey right up by the wall. Off of two. Still side by side down the straightaway. And Justin Anna Sogak will sweep through to take the lead.
get door bang a tiny bit coming through that dogleg corner.
Just a small little touch, no harm, no foul. We'll keep it green. Dale Rapp, meanwhile, trying to fend off Noah Swafford down the backstretch into turn number 3. And up the racetrack. Dale Rapp so far doing a great job to fend off drivers like Noah Swafford behind him.
In the back is where it's really going to get interesting. These guys are not fighting for anything except for wins and positions. So really what you're going to be looking at is people trying to pass. And, you know, they're going to potentially wreck. And that's really what's going to really shift the outcome of this race.
So Dudley going to pick off a spot from Aaron Raymond as Zeno tries to run down Jim Duda. Raymond now side by side with Highbaugh as one truck there, I believe that was the 22 of Jernigan behind, going to find the fence. Meanwhile, for third, the fight remains.
So I do have news about Jim Coleman's incident. He said that he had a black flag and he was muted. So when he said he was pitting, nobody heard him. So when he started slowing down.
Oh. Gotcha. That explains it. That makes a lot. So he was trying to come down to pit road. That does explain it.
He was trying to, well, obviously he was trying to serve a penalty that he got in the pits during the. It seems like that last caution. So that really explains it. That's the good thing. Kind of asking the driver after post-crash interview. Really kind of get a further look at what exactly happened from the driver's point of view.
Aaron Raymond, meanwhile, going to get around Joshua Jernigan and Bruce Dudley. So Raymond now one away from a top 10 once again. Trying to get one more, the T10 call to close out the season. It'd be a good run for him. We get one more top 10. Meanwhile, Paul Witt looking for one more top 5 as he looks set to run down Noah Swafford, looking for the inside, and he's going to try to get around Swafford to put himself into the 5th place spot. It'll be a tall order. That truck is a wounded bird, and he's almost going to put the 17 in the wall, but they're able to sweep through, and as is Gudger for 3rd.
Now the real thing is watching this battle at the front. Really, Zane Bailey needs that 13 to finish outside of the top 10, and right now, it seems like that's not going to happen.
.28 laps to go, and we got a caution as Aaron Raymond is facing the wrong direction up in turn number 1. That truck's been looking a little bit loose the last several laps. What do you reckon? Think that was by himself or with help?
You know what? He's made enough enemies that it could have been with help, but
It could go either way. Oh.
He could have also. He could have
on.
also gotten loose.
So Jernigan's behind, and well, Raymond had to happen to him. What's happened to so many others that Raymond has found himself behind?
Hard hit into the fence, too.
Kind of pancaked it with the left-hand side. That's a hard lick.
I was going to say there was a chance he was helped, and there was a chance he just got loose, because these trucks, you know, have a thing where if you get the back end damaged,
may have been
the truck.
May have been a little bit of both there. It looked like it kind of did get loose a little bit and kind of washed into the truck behind him. Let's ride on board from Jernigan's view here. Watch the 6. He did get a little loose there. Yeah, that slowed him up, and I think that's what kind of did him in.
And, you know, Jernigan was in the unfortunate position of being under him on the quarter panel, which just got into him.
So it should be one of the last series of pit stops. And we will look to be back in a moment with more on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Getting set to return to Green Flag Racing for the final 24 laps. We are under yellow flag number 10 this afternoon. 29 started this race. We're down to 19, 18 on the track, and 15 on the lead lap. So we've lost nearly half the field, but we're still looking to put in a good final 24 laps into the books. Green flag back in the air.
Not really the big thing looking at with pit stops. Zane Bailey went in and took a fresh set of tires, which means now he has the freshest set on the track.
Granted, quite a few drivers did as well, but Paul Witt did not. Witt is on fuel only right now for the driver of the 429. And Sogak gets well clear. Ryan Wayne and Aaron May are looking to go with him. Now the top three did not pit off of the restart. Dodger looking for three, and around goes Rapp. Dale Rapp spins at the tail end. No yellow. We'll keep it green. The pack continues to work through 1 and 2.
Now the big issue here is Zane Bailey stuck behind guys who hadn't pit, and that's letting Anasoga push Dudley's loose. Oh, wow.
And hard into the wall, and that will bring the yellow out. Caution again, and now Paul Witt is in firing distance of Anasogak, as is Zane Bailey.
That got interesting.
So yet another yellow flag comes out this time around, and we'll get a look at what happened to Dale Rapp off the hitch there. This is coming around through turn numbers 3 and 4 on the restart lap. He's alongside with Noah Swafford and Willem Vet. Just got a little bit loose, looking like he caught Kaiba just a little bit. All by himself, loose, and ooh, Highball did escape down low. And this was with Bruce Dudley.
Just got loose. Same spot, too, that he did before.
That brings him to a stop against the inside wall. This is what happened to Joshua. This is what Joshua Highball saw when Rapp got loose. Great job to get around that unscathed.
scary. That's like taking a gamble, especially when a guy is spinning like that, because he's either going to go take the momentum up the racetrack or he's going to come back down the racetrack. So whatever you choose, got to hope that he goes the opposite way.
The lights are out aboard the iRacing pace car, and we will get set to return back to racing action this next time by with 19 to go, and still hoping you get a good green flag run in to close out the championship. It'd be nice. Bruce Dudley sent to the longest line. First self-spin off of turn 2 for that one. Dudley out of the race. That now leaves us with 17 on the racetrack and 15 on the lead lap. Green flag is out. Zane Bailey looking for the inside on Ryan Wayne, trying to make a lunge for it. Looking to get to Justin Anasogak, but no dice.
And it got very tight in the back there. Aaron May blocking the 17, and they almost got together.
Still in the closing stages of this race, and there goes Zane Bailey to the inside of Anasogak, trying to make the run off of turn number 2. Paul Witt's in tow. Down the back straightaway into 3. Bailey has the bottom lane. He's going to push up and get into the top spot. With Anasogak still in the top 10, it could be all for naught.
Gonna be interesting. I wonder if they're gonna bump each other. See if they can. Oh, I know they both definitely want to win here.
I don't think Bailey would do that. Zane Bailey has said before he hates winning races that way. I don't think he would be one to do that. Now, Paul Witt, on the other hand, with that lunge he just made, I'm not so sure, but I think if it came down to it, Zane Bailey would give the win to Anasogak, especially since Anasogak, right, if he's fighting you for the win of the last lap, well, you've already lost the championship. It's just a matter of making it official.
I mean, I wonder what the guys behind are going to do, that's for sure. I wonder if they're going to race Anasogak like he's not in the championship. That's what I'm interested in seeing, because, I mean, that's probably the only way that Anasogak finishes outside the top 10.
Well, he's probably gotten enough bonus points that it wouldn't matter at this point for Anasogak. He probably has enough that he could very much win the championship, even if he finishes, you know, we're talking like 15th or 16th at this point. So, like you say, not out of the realm of possibility, and Paul Witt gets a little crossed up with Anasogak and Michael Gudger as they kind of accordion up there on the extra 3.
That got very, very close to having Anasogak turn all the way around. Oh, that's Raymond in the wall again. The back.
So Gudger and Witt fighting it out for the number 3 spot for the time being as this championship continuing to work its way to its conclusion. Final 13 laps, final 12 laps now of this race. And boy, what an afternoon it has been. Lots of great racing this afternoon. We've had the thrills, we've had the spills, and everything in between. Justin Anasogak has 12 laps before he's able to crown himself a champion. Zane Bailey out by 1.5 now from the field, almost 1.4. And the battle is now for best of the rest as we see who will take the last spot on the podium.
Yeah, that's it. You know, these 11 laps all matter now for Anna Sogak just to stay where he is. Zane Bailey can't really do anything about it. You know, he could win this race, but if Anna Sogak stays where he is, he's going to be your champion.
Further behind, Aaron Raymond getting the elbows out. He's going to get to the back of Aaron May. Pushes the iRacing number 24 Tundra off the racetrack. Raymond now looks for the inside. He's going to take away 9th. And whoa, way on the apron. Through 1 and 2. Trying to get 2 for 2 with a pass by Ryan Way. No dice. And that will stack him up right into May again as Aaron May looks back to the inside and a return number 3. Trying to send him, couldn't get to the back bumper.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting between these two. I mean, they've been racing each other hard all night, and really, Aaron May, I think, is fighting for position here. And he just wants to get past that 6 car.
Up the road, Michael Gudger looking for the inside on Anna Sogak, and Gudger will take away the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez has that problem somewhere on the racetrack. This is in turn 3. That truck is very much hurting, and you see him spinning around up the track in 4 and up into the outside wall. He was able to get it rolling, so he did not have the yellow.
And just got, you know, into the fence coming through, and, you know, that right there will take your truck, and it'll just make it, you know, you don't have that downforce that you built up anymore, and you know you're gonna spin coming into that corner.
Under 10 laps to go. Michael Gudger running the wave with 2nd. Anna Sogak fighting pole win for 3rd. White's gonna get into the door. The number 13 slides him out.
This is gonna be what to watch right here.
Paul Witt desperate to get into the top 3 of this race, but he's not going to be able to get the job done. Wanted one more podium on the afternoon, but he looks like he may very well be denied. Coming to 5 laps to go, this time by.
I think he's gonna have a couple more chances. But that was a very interesting way to do it. He almost turned him. And that would have set up an interesting situation if he got him around.
Just about, yeah. So the battle for the number 3 spot still remains. Looking for 4 this time by. And Anna Sogak sits in that critical position. 4 laps to go.
You know, you look at it, you applaud Zane Bailey in this position. I mean, he was not fighting for the championship a couple weeks ago, or that's what according to him. But he came into this race looking to try to win. So he still had, I think, a great season in my opinion. Even if he doesn't win this championship, being a runner-up, you still showed that you persevered through the whole entire year, even though he thought he didn't, you know, he wasn't able to pull through and win this race. But, you know, it's great for him looking to next season, you know, potentially maybe taking home his first title next season.
So 3 laps. Make it 2. Coming back around to take the white flag this next time by, and again, it's been a phenomenal season, and I am so ready to see what NAS Classic has in store for this league.
Who knows, we may see some new faces, new rookies, and somebody could become the next Justin Anna Sogak. Coming out of basically nowhere, rookie in the series and winning the title.
Zane Bailey will work his way around the racetrack for the final time. Michael Gudger nowhere close to him. Justin Anna Sogak will walk away with 9 top 5s, 12 top 10s, and 4 poles. But it'll be Zane Bailey winning the final race of the season? Well, Justin Anasogak puts Aaron Raymond's 3-time reign to a close. He wins the Season 6 champion as Ryan Wayne is turned across the line. Huge day for Justin Anasogak, the official Season 6 champion at the end of the night. Did absolutely everything he had to today. Zane Bailey, no doubt, is going to look to burn it down on the front straightaway. So will the Drive the Rowdy Energy number 13, as he can officially crown himself a champion. And, well, he might not go for any kind of interviews here. So Zane Bailey going to be having all the fun for himself. Tell you what, though, George, that was an awesome season.
It was. I mean, the switch from driver to commentator mid-season, and I got probably to watch or commentate some of the best races of this season. So that's always a plus, and I'm looking forward to NAS Classic and, coming back hopefully to IEL next season to watch, everybody to watch Anasogak, see if he can run it back.
It's a big day as Aaron Raymond's 3-time repeat championship streak comes to a close. He will not be able to go for 4. And Anasogak, the rookie, can be the one to proudly say he toppled a king this afternoon. And, well, with that, we'll get the chance to take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. Justin Anasogak takes the championship, but ahead of him in the race, it's Michael Gudger and Zane Bailey taking the win. Paul Witt will finish this championship quietly in 4th, with Noah Swafford in 5th, Joe Wilbers in 6th. Highball, Wayne, Raymond, and Jim Duda will round out the top 10. Barrett, Aaron May, Thomas Lane Jr., Dale Rapp, Joshua Jordan, and Kevin Roy, the Luigi Diaz-Gonzalez, Mike Campbell, Laban Van Leer, Bruce Dudley, and Jim Coleman'sberger. And then closing out the field was Jordan Jung, Anthony Lane, Austin Mitchell, Cody Witt, Ryan McRoberts, Brad Slago, Zachary Mertz, and Jeff Gilmore. Did not make it out of flat number 1. Boy, what an afternoon this one was, and again, a phenomenal drive from start to finish from everybody involved, and we'll get the chance now to take a rundown and give a chit-chat to everybody here that closes out this race, and again, what a wild race it ends up being. We'll look to kick things off first and foremost with Justin Anasogak as we have the official points tally in. Anasogak will win by 8 points this afternoon, with Zane Bailey being in the number 2 spot at the end of the day. And it is going to be, if we can track down where Zane Bailey's at. There he is, as it is Team IEL's number 20. Going to come home this afternoon. Zane, you take one more win on your championship this afternoon. Weren't quite able to get the title at the end of the night, but you are able to overtake Paul Witt at the end of the day. And I think that's a very nice consolation prize. Second of the championship, but one more win. It couldn't ask for much better, considering you were out by almost 20 points less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm very happy I was able to get another win this season. I hate drop races because second year in a row, if there wasn't any drop races, I would have won. But yeah, so close but so far every single year.
There's always next season coming on up next, and not a lot of downtime between that season as well. I know you had a couple of close blows there with Anasogak. I didn't think you were ever going to really put the bumper to him, but did the thought ever cross your mind?
Nah. I mean, he's raced me clean, so I race him clean.
Well, next week, the NAS Classic Series starts off with the, kind of ironically, the new ARCA cars on the service. What's your take as we'll be set for a Daytona doubleheader to kick off the year?
I don't really like the new ARCA car. I'm just looking forward to it on short tracks and road courses. I hate it on intermediates because it's just so tight and there's so much dirty air and just so much draft, and it's just pack racing. I don't like it.
Well, do you have any championship hopes for that season, or is it more just kind of see where things take you?
See where things take me.
Well, there's always a good chance to take things up when we go racing again next week. We'll wish you the best of luck. For now, congratulations on your race win and second to the championship, and we'll see you hopefully a week from today.
Yep, thank you.
Zane Bailey comes home number 1 this afternoon and number 2 in the title. Michael Gudger was the driver that comes on up second. Hard chart of the day, he was plus 21, and he is standing by with George Kirafides.
Well, good race, good podium position. You know, is there anything you think you could have done differently to try to get the win?
Not mess up qualifying, get start like 22nd for sure, but man, it was like back to front, back to front, back to front like 4 times, just off of bad luck or just a speeding penalty really didn't help there, but at least that was my own fault. Yeah, we were pretty fast. Strategy played out pretty well. Wish it had played out just a bit better, but still a solid second place. Would have never won the race because Zane was always so much faster than I was, but congrats to Zane. He earned it. Definitely one of the best trucks this race, and yeah, glad to cap off the season with second place and looking forward to getting at Daytona in the ARCA car next week.
How do you feel about that with the NAS Classic season coming up? You looking to fight for a title?
It depends on if I can actually show up every Saturday or not, with how work plays out. But I have not driven the ARCA car, so I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. But hopefully I will, and hopefully we'll do good. I plan on being fast as always, but yeah, just hopefully can go out there, win some races, not miss any of them, and then go out there and win the championship.
Yet another great race from Michael Gudger. Thank you. I wish you luck in the next season of NAS Classic.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll move on down to the driver out of Kenai, Alaska, and the man of the hour. Not many people can say that they put an end to a reigning champion's 3-time win streak in terms of overall titles, let alone in their rookie season. But Justin Anasogak, you have the chance to do that tonight as you are able to pull it off. You started on pole, and you did everything you needed to do this afternoon to get the job done. Talk us through a wild race at Phoenix.
To be honest, this is my worst track. And I kind of did a little bit of practice here today, but I didn't know it was going to be a night race, so it completely changed things. So I was like, just stay out front. Try to stay out front the whole time and use the dirty air. And first of all, shout out to Zane and Paul White for racing clean the whole race. You know, that's MVP right there. So shout out to them for racing clean throughout the night. I know there was a little few cautions, but man, that was a fun race.
Well, we look forward to seeing what's going to be next in store for you. Obviously, this season was a bit of a wild one for you from start to finish. What's in store for that Rowdy Energy number 13 Toyota Tundra as we swing to the NAS Classic season next week?
I don't race on weekends in the summertime up here, just because our summers are so short. So I'd like to go out and go camping whenever I can. So I'd like to push back on racing throughout the week, and especially on the weekends. So I probably won't race the summer.
Well, it might be a short-lived championship, but hey, it is a championship nonetheless. When the winter does settle back in, do you plan on making a return and potentially trying to go for another?
Maybe. See how summer goes and all that. And I'd just like to give a shout out to everybody that raced tonight, and Thomas, you know, and you guys, everybody at Silver Fox and Turn Down for What, for making this possible.
Well, Justin, it was a great run to take a championship this afternoon and really be an upset to the league this season. And hopefully we'll be seeing you back on track. We're very happy to see you next.
Hell yeah.
Justin Anasogak from Kenai, Alaska, comes home as the season 6 champion at the end of the night. And George, that's a wrap for season number 6 of the SRA IEL Truck Series. It's wild how quickly these races go, as quickly as they arrive. But just as quickly as one leaves, so does a new one rise as, well, next Saturday might not be the trucks, but it's the new NAS Classic Series kicking off in full force.
Yeah, and really looking at this season, it was great. And you know what? Everybody learned from this season? Aaron Raymond may have a little bit of competition in the next season.
I think that has been made more than apparent. But before we can see exactly what competition he's got in the new ARCA cars, we've still got more coming on up on Green Flag TV. Tomorrow, it's a doubleheader with the Blazing Pedals ARCA Series out at Talladega and the ASL Xfinity Series taken to the French countryside at Le Mans. For a doubleheader on Sunday afternoon. The High Tide Racing League Guardian Premier Series is out at Atlanta Motor Speedway at 9 o'clock p.m. for round number 2. The SRA Cup Series out at Talladega for their race over on Tuesday. Doubleheader again on PSR Simco Expo Truck Series Wednesday for round number 3 at Rockingham, with the Beer League having their 11th season opener at the Summit Point Raceway. That is capped off by the Speed Cup Series of the Chicago Street Course, and then pending scheduling conflicts once again for the SRA NAS Classic Series for their first ever race down at Daytona International Speedway for the SRA Open. In the meantime, my name is Nola Rempel alongside George Kirafides. What a wild season it has been. If you want to find out more about who we are, what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. As always, my name is Nolan Rempel. Thank you so much for joining us for more racing action. Next week, a brand new season kicks off. We'll see you there on Green Flag TV.